They say if you stare at the Colorado sky long enough, you'll see the storm coming before the clouds even roll in. But nobody tells you what to do when the storm wears a salmon pink blazer and knocks on your door asking for a chunk of your land for the good of the community. Yeah, that happened, and let me tell you, it was just the opening act in the strangest, pettiest, and most expensive show this ridge has ever seen. My name's Kevin Winslow. I'm 42 geologist by trade, lover of solitude by choice. Bought this plot up on Sentinel Bluffs for 3 simple reasons: peace, open sky, and science. No neighbor drama, no HOA newsletter judging my mailbox color, and absolutely no enforced Christmas decorations. Just me, the coyotes, and the wind that whistles secrets through the aspens. Or so I thought. See, everyone down this hill lives in bluffside meadows, neat little houses lined up like cereal boxes, all under the iron thumb of the HOA. My place built it myself. Not pretty, not matching, but solid, a little spaceship parked in their cookie-cutter galaxy. My deed is clean grandfathered out of their community, and for 4 years I kept it that way, fielding occasional friendly letters from the HOA. At first it was just the standard pitch: join us, be a team player. Taste the magic of mandatory bylaws. I always declined. Sometimes I sent back memes, sometimes I sent notarized refusals. Then came the wedge. The Bluffside HOA, led by their president, yes, her real name is Karen, wanted to buy a thin strip of my ridge. She claimed it was for a public scenic center. In reality, it would have put a concrete amphitheater right under my windows, complete with squealing toddlers, potlucks, and all the suburban peace I'd moved to escape. I said no, legal and polite. Sent them a formal refusal, cited property rights, threw in a geological risk assessment for good measure. But Karen, bless her heart, doesn't believe in no. She believes in winning. So one spring day I come home and see these neon survey flags hugging my property line, HOA newsletter in my mailbox, illegally by the way, announcing their grand new Vista Center. I nearly spit my coffee through the windshield, marched straight to their trailer office, which looked about as stable as their planning, and demanded to see Karen. She comes out in this salmon blazer, sunglasses big enough to land a drone on, and that smirk you only get from years of winning bake-offs and petty power plays. "Kevin, so glad to see you finally getting involved," she chirps. I slide her a thick folder, my own very detailed geological survey, complete with colored diagrams. The soil on that slope, unstable. Anyone with a semester of earth science could see you don't pour concrete here unless you're itching for a disaster. She flips through it like she's reading IKEA instructions. "We've had our own professionals look at it," she says, all dismissive. I ask for their report. It's internal. Of course. Did I let it go? Not a chance. I sent certified letters, maps, photos of old slides, risk analyses, the works. No reply. Then at 7 a.m. 2 weeks later, my alarm is the jackhammer. Out my window, cranes, mixers, steel beams, the works 20 feet from my living room. Temporary fences right through my viewwork trucks half parked on my gravel turnout. When I asked the foreman about the encroachment, he handed me a business card, Riverstone Planning LLC. Guess who owns it? Karen's nephew. The next HOA meeting was pure sitcom. I wasn't invited, but I came anyway, returned to sender envelopes in hand. They laughed me off the stage. "If Kevin won't join, he'll just have to watch us improve around him," Karen says deadpan, and the board eats it up. I left before the lemonade started, but I wasn't done. I filed a formal complaint with the county engineering department, flagged it as urgent. "Thanks for your civic concern," they said, bureaucracy at its finest. So I called up a few old colleagues, real engineers, not HOA professionals. Every single one took one look and said, "What the hell are they building?" Meanwhile, the HOA cranked up the pettiness. Flyers stuffed in my mailbox trucks, blocking my driveway, their Vista Center renderings featuring my view only. They'd Photoshop my house out. Bags of cement leaning against my fence, just pure entitled carelessness. I documented everything, tried to talk to the county inspector. Poor kid looked like he was barely old enough to rent a car. He said, "I'm just here to check the fencing, sir." "Thanks, bud." Then came the big public update. Not at their clubhouse, but in a white tent on the construction site like they were launching a Silicon Valley startup. Karen at the mic speech about building a legacy. I ask if they've filed the required environmental impact report. She hands the mic to her nephew, who starts mumbling about private compliance protocols. So I drop a copy of the statute on the podium, section 12, paragraph 4. No construction within 500 feet of an erosion zone without an EIR. They didn't have one. Karen just smiles like a statue, then moves to questions about patio umbrellas. I send another certified packet, this time to the city, county, and the regional geology board. That's when I notice something strange. The signature on the development permit, Councilman Ellis Drake, the guy I'd seen sipping sangria at Karen's 4th of July bash last year. Suddenly it clicks: every permit for Bluffside's projects, fast-tracked, never flagged for review. I file a Freedom of Information request for their emails. I can wait. A week later, the real trouble starts. Colorado spring brings a biblical rain, not the gentle kind, but a pounding that turns ground to soup. My soil sensors, which I'd buried just inside my property line, start flashing red saturation levels not seen in 2 decades. Meanwhile, the pavilion skeleton is nearly done. 2 concrete terraces jutting over the bluff, decorative pavers stacked up, waiting to become pretty walkways on a ticking geological bomb. I warn them again. Final report signed by 2 licensed engineers. Shear stress subsurface slippage color-coded for the heart of thinking. Nothing. Then just before sunrise one morning, I feel it, a low rumble through my house like distant thunder. I look out, see a crack splitting the new pavement. And then with a groan, like a wounded beast, 60 meters of bluff face lets go. The terraces, the supports, the underground garage, all of it just slides down the hill in one heaving, muddy, $1 million disaster. Concrete shatters, trees topple, a dust cloud shoots up, and then nothing but silence. I called 911, sent emails to every news contact I'd collected, uploaded photos, GPS data, moisture readings. Within an hour, the site's locked down, police and fire tape everywhere. Neighbors out in their robes gawking. 3 homes hit, one with its porch peeled off, another with cracked foundations, a third barely standing. Damage estimate over $15 million. Karen nowhere to be seen. Tyler, pale as printer paper, tries bossing around. First responders, gets told to sit down or leave in cuffs. The next blow comes from the insurance company. No payout. Their statement, HOA leadership proceeded despite credible written warnings. No money, not a cent. The local paper runs a front-page: geologist warned HOA. They didn't listen. Now, it's a mud bath. Photo of me, arms folded, disaster behind me. Not my worst angle, honestly. Then comes the spin. HOA accuses me, yes, me, of causing the landslide with a supposed unauthorized drainage system. Certified letter lawyer talk request to survey my land. Rumors fly on the community forum. Kevin dug secret drains. Kevin bragged about runoff control at barbecues. I've never even been to a barbecue. It's a full-blown smear campaign. But I'm not new to this game. Called my lawyer, hired a private geotech firm from Boulder. They show up with sensors, drones, LiDAR. In parallel, I get the county's senior inspector, a no-nonsense guy named Reyes, to walk my property. He kneels, tests, the soil, mutters, "This ground hasn't been touched in years." Drainage, my ass. I compile every letter, every timestamp, even moon phases, just for fun. Still, the HOA pushes files for emergency court orders, wants access to my land, starts talking ecoterrorism. We counter with motions for harassment and defamation. Meanwhile, Tyler keeps prowling the edge of my property, clipboard in hand, whispering into a headset like he's auditioning for Spy Kids HOA edition. I shout, "You're on camera and also stupid." He leaves. Then the press. The HOA leaks their version, so I invite the local news up for a tour, show them the sensors, the engineering reports, the crumpled terrace, even the anonymous forum posts. Reporter just nods. I dig into HOA paperwork, find their permits signed by an architect with no mountain accreditation, environmental waivers missing stamps, signatures that don't match. It's a house of cards. The Boulder firm's report. Crystal clear. No artificial drainage, no tampering, all water flow. Natural slope failed under excessive structural load exactly where they'd poured the concrete. Rhea's report says the same, no external influence. Documented negligence by HOA likely contributed. We file for full dismissal, counterclaim for damages. That's when things break open. Anonymous envelope in my mailbox, inside emails between Karen, her nephew, and Councilman Drake. Smoking gun stuff, Karen asking for permit shortcuts, Tyler gloating about keeping environmental stuff quiet, Drake pushing the project under the small structure exemption. My obsession with geology would bury him in graphs. But we've got the votes, Karen wrote. Oh, Karen. Oh, Suddenly the board starts to crack. Forum posts change tone. Board members resign for health reasons. Karen begs them to stay, offers to pay fees. They decline. Lady, the structure already slid off the damn hill, Tom from 2 houses down says. Insurance sues for recovery. HOA accounts frozen. Emergency Zoom meetings with no one showing up. Their Facebook goes dark. But here's the real twist. The city's new geological assessment declares the site off limits for development for 15 years, orders full restoration funded by what's left of the HOA's cash. My bluff becomes a protected zone, no construction, just native grass, and a warning sign. Karen's legacy is now an environmental hazard. The court case is quick. Karen, Tyler, and Drake all called to testify. The jury hears the evidence. Fake permits, misuse of funds, that live TV moment where Karen cracks and throws Drake under the bus. The verdict: Karen gets jail time, Tyler loses his license, Drake's career is toast. HOA assets split for repairs and damages. I get my legal fees a little more, not enough to buy peace and quiet, but it'll do. And in the end, one morning, I find a wooden sign at the edge of my land. I didn't put it there. It just reads, I warned you. I didn't join. I didn't back down. I left it up. So let me ask you, where do you draw your line when community becomes a weapon? Was I right to fight them, or just another stubborn crank with a chip on his shoulder? Drop your thoughts below, share your own HOA war stories, and if you believe in picking your own neighbors or picking none at all, hit like, drop a comment, and let's talk about what real justice looks like out here.